Good morning. So we've got somebody from Portugal saying hi.
Welcome. Hello from New Zealand.
Oh,
Hey,
from New
hey,
Zealand.
Victor. Good to see you again. I saw you in a workshop yesterday. Great to have you again. Keep those introductions coming. Here they come, Kiran. We've got Denny. Good to see you again, Denny, from Trinidad and Tobago. We have Iceland, Gunnar. Welcome from Slovakia, Norbert. Kiran, this is a global group. I hope you're ready for it. This is a good
Too
group.
much pressure, too much pressure.
Hello, Heidi from Finland. Good morning from Botswana. El Shaddai, great to have you. Hello, Marta from Poland. Oh my goodness. Lucia from Spain. Akiko, PhD candidate for pharma company. Good luck to you. Can't wait to see your dissertation. Hello, Iwa from Poland. Okay, thank you for those introductions, everybody. Today, you can put questions anytime. You're welcome to put it in the chat if you'd like. We also have a Q&A feature, and we might ask you to share in the chat your own connections to today's topic. So if you have a resource or you're a feeling about something that Kiran shares today, use the back channel to keep the conversation going and make connections. With that, everybody, I would love to introduce you to our speaker today with Design for Change. We're so happy to have you here. Kiran, did you want to introduce yourself? Let folks know where you're from, how long you've been in this field, and what you'll be talking about today.
Hi, everybody. I am Kiran from India. I keep saying my only claim to fame is I live actually in the land where Mahatma Gandhi was born. So that is like, the ultimate, fangirl moment and name dropping. Yes, I'm a designer by profession, but I got into education really by chance. And it's such an odd conundrum because design is always by intention. But I had no plans. I tell you, Wendy, no plans to change the world. I was totally happy designing restaurants and running a design firm. But then my whole world changed when I became a mother. And I realized just how bleak it is to have an education that rewards compliance and being good over conversation and having a voice. So I think that really got me excited about the opportunity. And I then embarked to starting my school and then subsequently Design for Change and then the ICANN schools, literally from that moment of sheer desperation. It's been 20 years now. In fact, in January this year, we celebrated 20 years. So, woohoo!
Woo,
Yay!
nice job.
Yay for this journey. And I have to say, I have learned so much from the true experts, which are our children, not all the theorists. And it's so wonderful to be able to give this opportunity to share small lessons that I have learned over these 20 years. And if any of it kind of resonates with you, like Wendy says, I would love to answer questions at the end of this. So, Wendy, what I thought was I could just start by sharing a little bit and frame the conversation with a small presentation, and then maybe we could have our conversation, or like I call it, conversation.
Nice.
Remember? And then possibly we can open it up for Q&A. What are your
That sounds
thoughts?
perfect, Karen. I can't wait to hear more about your work, and thanks for inspiring us with your background. Thanks for your 20 years of service to making the world a better place. So
Oh,
wonderful. Let's dive in.
lovely. Thank you. So I'm going to do a little bit of a screen share and get my story up, and I hope everybody can kind of see my
Yeah,
son
got
when
a
he was
cutie
all of
on
6
there.
days.
We see
Of
it.
course, now he's a strapping lad of 30 with beard and everything, but at that time, those are the eyes. And how can you not say yes to those eyes? So really, my foray into education started because of my son, Rag. He was all of 6, and I still remember going to his school and meeting his teacher and asking him to share stories about what he loves doing and his friends and his interests. And I remember encountering, which I have since encountered several times, the face of a teacher. And it's not the most enthusiastic face you will see. In fact, it's a face of sheer apathy and real kind of boredom. And she kind of looked at me and she said, what is his roll number? And just like that, I recall thinking, my God, my son doesn't even have a name. He's been with her for like 3 months, but she doesn't even know that he exists. And I think for me, that idea that my son will not have an identity or a purpose was just not good enough for me. So that day I took him out of school. Now, what was I supposed to do next? Well, I think as a mother, and I think a lot of us will resonate ourselves as mothers to say, oh my God, this is not good enough, right? This is a crisis in education. However, a lot of mothers, and I've met so many who tend to say, but this is the way it's always been. I mean, what's one person going to do? I mean, no, this is the government's job. Or they would have just changed the school. And I think for me as a designer, I responded to this crisis as an opportunity. And I said, my God, here's an opportunity to think about how can children's voice and choice really be respected and be the center of a learning program. And I think the fact that I didn't come from education, it came from design, I think I was liberated and I could ask the big questions. What if? Why not? And I think that liberation and that freedom pretty much then resulted in this quest, the quest that if we are born human by chance, can design and education play a role in making us humane by choice? I mean, for me, I just feel, and I'm just looking at last year in 2020 and the crisis that we've all encountered, that we just have to make kinder choices. And very often that doesn't happen by design. It's left to chance. Some people will get it, some not. But to choose to be humane, to choose to be kinder, more generous of the spirit, more welcoming and more inclusive, is such a powerful role that education can play. Well, so in 2001, rather than leave this to hope, I said, okay, let's put this into action. And I started the Riverside School. So really that's what it's come. For the last 20 years, we've been kind of a lab for prototyping and iterating a humane curriculum, starting with the values that fuel everything else. I keep saying values must be the glue by which everything else is built on. It's the foundation on which everything else gets built on. So the values that we at Riverside have sort of tested, tried, archived, codified are really these. I mean, if you look at even the spelling, it's so beautiful, it fits in so well, the ease. So empathy is the first value, the whole understanding of self and the other. Ethics, the idea of constantly asking our children to understand what is right over what is easy. So too often in education, we just take the answer because it saves us time, but we don't have the opportunity to get our children to constantly iterate and choose wisely and take responsibility for what they do. The third E, which I love, is excellence. It's a pursuit. It's quality over quantity. Otherwise, we have too much of our assessment and our grading system only on one number. And we tell our children that you are markable and not remarkable. So these are things that we kept questioning. Elevation, which I love, the idea that we're not here to compete with each other, but we're here completing each other's stories. We have so much to share and build on each other. And the last is evolution. The idea we're a work in progress, that we're constantly in an iterative mindset, the growth mindset that Carol Dweck has so beautifully articulated. So these really became the shape of our curriculum. And through that, I wanted to share with you just one example of how the humane curriculum is infused as an ethos at Riverside. It's really a story of my 11-year-olds who go through an experience of child rights. The idea that children's rights, while so many of us just get it, they need to also be preserved and duties need to be performed towards, enjoying the rights. So they go through an experience of rolling incense sticks for 3 days, and really through that recognize that once every right has been kind of removed, the way that they respond to it and to the cause is really their responsibility towards the right. So this is their story, which I would love to share.
The vision of Riverside is to create the best school for the world and not just in the world. Education is not all about content. It is about doing good as well as doing well. So right from grade 3, we start with this whole idea of citizenship.
So citizenship for me is when you add value to your society and make it better the way you want it. 26.
It is not easy to see them go through this experience of actually making the incense sticks. It's a dark and dingy place where they are all sitting cramped up But when the child goes through that experiential learning, I see them building empathy and having gratitude for their own lives. I'm really proud that I'm creating citizens who are changing the world.
It is so true that you can actually activate that muscle. Just like, it's such an irony that we have math timetable every single day of the week, but we have citizenship and values once a week, as an after school or afterthought. So I think when we created the humane curriculum, we really, stood back and said, wow, these are what children are telling us. The idea that they're co-creating the learning journey with us. Well, we call this the I can mindset. And we said, if it's working at Riverside, it must go to the world. So in 2009 is when Design for Change was launched by Riverside to give the same I can mindset, not a mindset, but the belief. It's like a belief to tell children that this is possible and you can. So we crafted the simple 4-step framework of feel, imagine, do, share, which really is the empathy, ethics, excellence, and elevation. And we gave a challenge to the children across the world. So today, children over maybe around 56 to 60 countries are changing the bad and making it good with the power of their ideas. They are basically, reducing the weight of their school bags or stopping child marriages, basically telling us that they can make their world a better place, not the burden of changing the world. But I think for me, what's really important is, why are we giving this message to our children? I think we're telling them that that little corner of the world that they inhabit can be made more beautiful, more just, and more equal. And that they don't have to be mere spectators of change. They can be the initiators, participants, and overseers of change. And I think this is the voice that our children need in the world. And this is the kind of world that we need to inhabit. So this is just, again, does not happen by chance, but happens by design. And I'd just like to end with a little glimpse of the global movement.
Woo, that doesn't leave you amped up, ready to change. I don't know what will, Kiran. That's amazing.
This is the part when I typically end by saying, woohoo!
Very woo-worthy, for sure.